I'm a Call of Duty player. I feel like it's important to preface this before this video starts by saying that I am a Call of Duty player through and through. Who stole my kill? Okay. Really? Really? Really, 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 really? I'm gonna find your address and bomb you. Yeah, I'm not dealing with this. It is my most played game over the past couple of years, and it is one of the games that I love the most and the game that I definitely hate the most. Up there with 2K. But this is all to say that my first one was MW 2019. I know, all you old heads who clicked on this video titled Call of Duty's Problem or some stupid shit like that is like, the story is told to you by a youngin'. I'm sorry I didn't play COD 4 because I was still in the womb. My apologies. I'm sorry. But just hear me out, okay? Just hear me out. For all the hate that the game series rightfully gets nowadays, there's nothing I hate more than seeing hate be incorrect. Because I'm a hater. I'm a hater for sure. But if you're gonna be hating, you have to do it right. I feel like the reason why people hate the modern CODs more as well is because of a couple factors that all stack together to create one giant stinking shit show. So I'll talk about it. I'd say there are a few different types of perspectives when it comes to COD as a franchise, and all of them are equally flawed and annoying in their own ways. The clear biggest sort of archetypes and perspectives though are old heads and sweats. Old heads in this sense, by the way, don't only apply to people who are 38 and have kids in the background of their game. No. When I'm talking about old heads in Call of Duty, it refers to a type of player that wants a certain thing from the game. Fun. It's one of the core focuses of games in general, being a fun experience to play with friends or alone, right? That's what a game is. Sweats, on the other hand, pretty obvious as to what they want from the game. They play games not to have fun, no matter how much they try to convince you otherwise. They don't play it for fun. They play it for its competitive nature. And who can blame them? Games, at their core, even beyond video games, are meant to be competed in. Now you're seeing the problem, right? Why do old heads complain about sweats trying so hard? And why do sweats say that old heads have to just get better? They're both right in this case, right? Neither one is a definite correct opinion. No matter how much you side, neither one of them is a correct opinion. Now, are sweats really annoying and old heads bitching and moaning about the sweats also very annoying? Yes, but are either of them right? There's a third and fourth group that I think that since they're a minority in the overall sphere? Am I fucking stupid? There's a third and fourth group that I think that since they're a minority in the overall sphere of COD, they get less attention from the overall community. Old heads that are good and sweats that know how to have fun. While these two sound pretty similar to one another, they're different in one key way. The priority of them is different from one another. Old heads that are good still play the game to have fun. Sweats that know how to have fun still play the game to win. They just know how to, quote unquote, have fun. The best example of old heads that are good is the one, the only Jev. And if you don't know who Jev is, I think officially now, he's one of the most important creators in gaming history. He's been playing since, World at War, I think? And he's been around long enough and has documented just how much the community has changed. Not by literally talking about it, even though he does do that a lot, but by just being himself. His perspective is one of the past. It's one of like BO2, MW2, old MW3, BO1, those days, even 2008 to 2015. One of those dudes. He's one of those dudes. He's one that sees how COD has changed since its heyday and how it's affected the entire community since then. And there are a bunch of sweats around that know how to have fun. They've been playing for a while, but they've all been playing for competitiveness since the beginning. A lot of COD League players, kind of like that. Those are sweats that know how to have fun because when they aren't competing, they're doing stupid shit. They're so good that they can do whatever they want and they can win, sort of. You can't beat the meta because Call of Duty sucks. But yeah, that's the role of perspective when it comes to Call of Duty and its problems. All these different viewpoints of how the game should be cause people to just be at one another's throats and end up making the game less enjoyable in general. But this leads into my next point. To circle back really quick, I started playing this game much later than probably a majority of the people in the audience, if this video blows up. A lot of people have been playing since BO3 or MW2. Hell, some have been playing since Call of Duty 2 Big Red One, for all I fucking know. It's like, they might be thinking, who does this guy think he is? Talking about my community and my game. If you noticed me putting extra emphasis on the my in the last sentence I just said, you're probably wondering why. Well, COD, since its inception and since its explosion into becoming one of the most popular game franchises of all time, has never been your game or anyone else's game. Since the beginning, it's been a money-chasing, profit-hunting franchise. It's a bit disingenuous to say that about the studios making them, like even Infinity Ward, who are usually pretty looked down upon for being how can I put it, stupid. They had passion in their old games and they still do to this day, but you can tell the difference. But in this case, when I'm talking about, I guess, money chasing and profit hunting, it's more about the publishers. Activision. No matter how much you want to say that back then they made games more passionately, which is partially true, the main goal ever since people realized they could make bands on top of bands from video games has been money. DLCs and merchandise has always been made to make more money. Call of Duty has never and will never be your game. But why did it feel like your game to you back then? Because back then, the people that played video games were a much smaller community and were more like you. Games like COD were never meant to cater to one audience. It just so happened that the people playing games back in 2011 were like you. So it ended up not mattering much. They had one homogenous community. It was super easy to cater to a large community when your community is basically all the same. But now, with gaming becoming a global phenomenon, they still need to be made to cater to everyone, especially Call of Duty, since it's a massive game that brings in billions. That's not over exaggeration. Each game brings in billions for Activision. And funnily enough, the one time they did try to cater to a certain audience was MW 2022. You know how that game went. And you might be saying to yourself, you cater to campers. When in reality, they tried to cater to a majority of the gaming populace. Casuals, not old heads. Old heads are a division of casuals that are much different. But anyways, if they made a game catered to rushers like you wanted them to, the game would have ended up like the Blitz mode on Vanguard, but for every single map. It's too fast for normal map play, which is what you'd usually play, right? I'm guessing if you're watching this video, you either play Search and Destroy, or you play 6v6. For all I know, you could be playing Demolition. That game mode's a shitload of fun. You're probably a 6v6, straight domination, maybe free-for-all, so not 6v6, but team deathmatch, domination, hardpoint, kill confirmed. You might be one of those players, or you're probably one of those players. If you had what you wanted, as in a much faster game, you would have the Blitz mode from Vanguard on all the time, which at a certain point gets extremely frustrating. This is another factor into why COD feels so off to older generation players like yourself and to newer generation players like me who prefer to play the game for fun and casually while still maintaining that little bit of competitiveness within you. The games feel less personal as the community grows bigger and bigger. This isn't to say that there are elements of the game itself now that make it feel different or worse to you though. To be very straightforward, nostalgia and people being worse at games then is a reason as to why you remember the old days so well. But it is very well known at this point that there is an element of Call of Duty now that inherently, just straight up, makes the game worse to play. And it's a clear showing as to what the intent of Activision, the worst gaming company besides EA of all time, ever, it's much easier to see their intent nowadays. They've always been greasy scumbags that hire sexual assaulters and they're pieces of shit. They always have been. But at least back then, they made that a little, you know, more private than they do now. When the main directors of MW2, the original in 2009, left to go to EA, that was the first time that people saw Activision's true intentions. But the thing that I'm specifically talking about when it comes to an aspect of the game completely ruining it is engagement optimized matchmaking. Fucking terrorism, I tell you. One thing that bothers me a lot when it comes to the Call of Duty community is just like how sometimes we are willingly ignorant and oblivious to certain things, and this is one of them. EOMM and SBMM are very, very different things, because SBMM is a real valid system that matches you up with players that are similar in skill to you, and it makes the game pleasurable while still being a bit challenging. You get that rush out of you when you clutch something, you get your heart pumping a little bit, but you also get a bunch of laughs with your friends, and you also just see stupid shit happening, like, I don't know, somebody getting noob tubed, or somebody getting blown back by a shotgun 150,000 yards. SBMM puts you up against similar skilled players who enjoy the exact same thing as you because they're in the same KD as you. You guys have similar skill assets and skill levels. It makes the game a lot more fun. EOMM, on the other hand, I personally think should be banned, federally banned, across every country in the world, and it should have Activision sued for exploitation. It is my biggest gripe with the entire franchise, honestly, and it should be yours too. Engagement optimized matchmaking is a system that matches you up against better players than you for multiple games in a row. Then, when it senses that you've had enough of getting your butt tickled, shall we say, by 4KD basement dwelling losers, it puts you on the better team against people much worse than you. And since you've been playing against sweats the whole time, you're now sweating yourself, and you end up pub stomping these poor opponents who will then repeat the cycle over and over again. And since it feels good to beat the shit out of somebody in a video game, you end up remembering that more than the previous 5, 10, 15, 20 games, and it keeps you on for longer to chase that high. It is literally narcotics. And it repeats itself with the other thousands, maybe millions? I don't think it was millions on this game. It repeats itself with the other hundreds of thousands of people on the game congruently. Actual, real, genuine exploitation of the customer, and I really do think it's the worst thing that's happened to COD ever. The entire franchise. It causes you to not play the game for fun, but for spite and revenge. It's like, that's not an over dramatization. It's literally, you end up playing the game until you get to dog and piss and shit and dookie on somebody else, who will then want the same thing after they got pissed on and stepped on and dogged on and shit on and dookied on by you on somebody else. It's never ending. It's pitiful. It is pitiful. It is bullshit. And I pray for the day someone with a big enough influence, Jav Wildcat Smitty, please, any one of you, if you some Ink Slasher, dude, if you react to this video, first of all, massive inspiration. Thank you. Second of all, please do something, man. Please. But anyways, I pray that somebody with a big enough influence properly tells Activision to just fuck off. You know? Like, seriously, man. Fuck off. They know that we can complain about it too. They know we complain about it. Yet they use our own words against us because people call it SBMM rather than EOMM. And they openly say that it's EOMM. But once you say it's SBMM, then they'll switch it. And then they say, we've always had SBMM in our games. We've had it since Advanced Warfare. Why are you complaining just now? It's literally gaslighting. It is corporate gaslighting. That's the dumbest thing I've ever said in my life, but it is corporate gaslighting. There are a couple other factors I'm about to talk about that are just objectively facts about the game, but this is the one that I wanted to focus on the most. Another reason as to why the game feels so different now than it did before is the environment. I'm not about to come up here and say to the viewers that are younger, my age, you would never handle lobbies back then. You kids nowadays, or my bad. You would never handle lobbies back then, kids you nowadays. It's corny. It's corny as balls. If anything, the kids today would prosper. Have you seen the audacity of children nowadays? It would be like a hunting ground for them. It would be ridiculous. But it can't be denied that back then, people just talked more in game chat than they do today. Multiple reasons as to why we don't talk to each other in game chat anymore. Creation of Discord, and also, I guess before Discord there was Skype, which, Jesus Christ, the fact that I even remember Skype makes me feel old. People just being less social and more scared to talk in chat due to people in game chats being assholes, and that whole stereotype and stigma kind of came back to bite you in the ass. Also the fact that game chats in COD are restricted, which while I just said that non-restricted game chats kind of cause people to be scared, why are you restricting game chats on a M17 / what is it in the UK, 18 plus, and like the stupid system that you have over the pond and over the bigger pond in Australia? Fuck you guys, I'm playing. But like, why the fuck am I agreeing to a code of conduct on a rated M game? What kind of bullshit is that? The fact that people can't talk trash anymore and disbanding lobbies, which is a massive issue, also very bullshit, ends up making most lobbies you get into completely silent unless it's SND. And I've also noticed free-for-all. People talk a lot in free-for-all, but I guess it's kind of a given. It's a more casual game mode. You get, you know, more casual players. It's awesome. It's a really fun experience to play free-for-all when there isn't that one sweat in the lobby that's just taking it too serious. All of that, disbanding lobbies and voice chats and all that stupid shit, it all links back to EOMMM as well. The motto of all games should be ping is king, but with engagement optimized matchmaking, actively seeking out lobbies to put you in that are sweatier? Dude, I'm having a stroke! But with engagement optimized matchmaking, actively seeking out lobbies to put you in that are sweatier or less sweaty, ping becomes secondary, and lobbies that stay together aren't feasible because the game is searching to put you in a harder or an easier lobby instead of just people. The sense of community, like the rivalries that form across different maps, you can see it all the time. People would shit talk in the first game they play. In the second and third game, they beef. In the fourth game, they realize, oh, why are we beefing? The fifth game, they add each other on, was it Xbox Live? I'm sorry, dude. I'm too young for this. All I know is I know the stories. Like, they add each other on Xbox. That is a possible decade-long gaming friendship. Like, friendships made from Call of Duty doesn't happen anymore because it's impossible for it to happen because of engagement optimized matchmaking. The environment of gaming, specifically Call of Duty in this case, is boned. You can't have that old 2010, 11, 12. You can't have that environment anymore. It's simply not possible in the eyes of Activision because they won't get rid of engagement optimized matchmaking. Unless the last thing that I think has really changed Call of Duty for the worst is completely subjective, but not in the way you think. It highly depends on a factor that people either have or don't have. Actually, only one person has and the others don't. You. While it sounds ridiculous that you being you has made the game worse, I'm willing to guess that everything in life probably got much more boring or less joyful as you got older. Shit that you used to enjoy, you probably don't as much anymore. It's a given of aging. You change more than you think you would back when you were younger. To be blunt, a majority of COD memories are heavily biased, and you usually forget the fact that the game you're playing a majority of the time was extremely broken, unfair, and not fun. Modern Warfare 2. I think the only exception was BO2, because it was just general Call of Duty bullshit, but it was pretty balanced. I'm not discounting your fun days that you had back in 2011, but it's hard to ignore the fact that you growing up, gaining more life responsibilities and experience, and overall just maturing has led to your enjoyment of games in general going down. It sucks that a majority of people won't ever get to experience a feeling like old gaming ever again. It doesn't have to be that way though. To quickly summarize what I just spent the last, I'll say, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, some shit like that. To quickly summarize what I just spent the last couple of minutes talking about, the reason why COD doesn't hit the same to you as it used to is because of a bunch of reasons, from gaming as a whole becoming more corporate than passion, player entitlement, and thinking the game has to be made for them to have fun, so they just end up pigeonholing themselves, among a couple other things like growing up. It's a tragedy to see that happen. It's also a tragedy to see what the series has become and to see what it stands for now. A beacon of corporate buffoonery, because niggas just need to squeeze those last $20 out of you. They just need to. Ooh, yeah, ooh. Yeah, $20, even though I'm a multi-billionaire. While it's always been like that, at least before they used to be good at hiding it. But regardless, while COD will never be the same unless a godsend of a company owner comes through and saves it, it doesn't mean you can't have fun. Is it harder to have fun? Sure. In any shooter game, might I add. It's much harder to just play casually in any shooter game. Realizing and accepting that fact though, and making the best out of it is more fun than you could ever believe. I realized like only a couple weeks ago, literally like I think 3 weeks ago, that once I'm done my camo grind, the game can be whatever I want it to be. Whether it's trolling sweats by just being intentionally dense, to using the most random bullshit weapons possible, like a bow and arrow, or a random one-shot gun that everybody forgot about, or the deagle, or the deagle, or the deagle, or the deagle, trick shotting, riot shielding every once in a while. It's still possible to make really good memories from COD. While the community is less, I guess, active as it used to be, people in game chats, especially in Search and Destroy, the rare occasion when a Search and Destroy lobby has good people that are funny and not just racist or silent or sexist or homophobic. Oh boy, it is so much fun. It's important to realize too that even though gaming is more isolated, if you have friends who have the same no shits given mindset when it comes to this game, you might just make memories that are just as memorable as the ones from a decade ago. Massive might though, not guaranteed. I am not a legal advisor on your fun. So, thank you for watching. This part is the only part that I don't have written out in the script. Apart from my tangents, I didn't write those out. But I usually don't make videos like this. I'm a strict gaming YouTube guy. I love making gaming videos. I love entertaining people. But I feel like I just really needed to make this video because I see Call of Duty getting a lot of hate, right? And a lot of it is deserved. But a lot of it is also not. A lot of it is just straight bullshit and facetiousness, I guess would be the word. Facetiousness from other gamers that just, they're miserable. They're miserable people. Whether it's on the old head side or the sweat side, it's just, they're miserable people that ruin the game for everybody else by influencing others' opinions. And I hate seeing that happen to a game that, especially Modern Warfare 3. The campaign and zombies were bad. Really bad. But the multiplayer this year, top 3. Can't believe I'm saying that. But top 3 multiplayer of any Call of Duty game. But yeah, it was a great multiplayer year, and yet people still find a way to just rag on it. And it's just like, I hate how cynical gaming has become. And that's just a product of gaming in and of itself just becoming sort of shit. But I just felt like people needed a video to sort of clear their mind. This is not me forcing my opinion on you, by the way. If you disagree with this video, leave a dislike, leave a hate comment. As long as it doesn't have slurs in it, I'll probably see it. Actually, if it does have slurs in it, I'll probably see it earlier than others. So hey, leave extremely racial homophobic. But if you dislike the video, then who am I to tell you, hey, listen to me? You know, that's not me. But I felt like I just wanted to put a video out there to sort of give my own opinion and help people sort of get out of the mindset of, oh, other people are saying this, then I have to say this. I just hate that shit. I really do. I hate it in everything that it can apply to. Gaming, music especially. Yeah, I just wanted to give a little beacon of hope before Black Ops 6 comes out, but I doubt I'll get this video out before Black Ops 6. This was recorded on October 6th, by the way. So if it comes out before Black Ops 6, you need to like and subscribe and click the bell, because that's what you signed for when you click this video. I know you didn't see it, but I have a little backlogger in your computer that signed a contract. You are legally abided to do that. I went completely off tangent there, but basically, beacon of hope for people. Stay positive. Have your own opinions. That's basically what this video is. Have your own opinions. If you agree with my opinion, I'm happy with that. If you disagree with my opinion, I'm even happier. Just don't let other people influence your opinion on anything. I hope Black Ops 6 marks a turning point for Call of Duty in general. I really hope it does, because I genuinely love this franchise. No matter how much I hate it, it's kind of like 2K. No matter how much I hate it, I really do love Call of Duty. I love what it's done for the gaming culture. I love what it's done for me. I love what it's done for, not even just gaming culture, actually, just the culture of the internet in general. It's such an influential franchise, and to see where it is now, shame. It's a shame. So yeah, I hope this is a new era for Call of Duty. Probably isn't though.